Today on episode 156 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, an interview with our guy Caleb from Connect Roasters, an NFL Championship weekend preview, a new team builder, and a TCF top 3 of Barstool personalities. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 156 of Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure to find us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram. Give those pages a like for all of our content in video form. Head on over to YouTube. Type in Typical Chicago Fans. Hit that red subscribe button. Wherever you get your podcast, we are there. Follow, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you can. As Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, we are there. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. And of course, we've got Zach at ZLiliaTCF and Maddie at schools_01. Boys, we have to update the weather. I've been worried about this. I think we might be starting the winter we thought we were going to avoid.
Pushed snow 2 days in a row, so that's never good. Supposed to snow again Saturday, but like Maddie had said, we're gonna get crushed here most likely.
February is gonna be a
the
monster.
Winter we already had.
February's got everything that January was supposed to have and everything that February is supposed to have, just ready to fucking dump on us.
Yeah, it's not a fun week. We've been very blessed. The December and January, I think we're in for one here. But what can you do? It's why we part of all of choosing to live where we do. What can you do?
And maybe we shouldn't live in Illinois.
Yeah, I don't hate that idea at all, especially knowing what we're in store for here in February and probably some of March. So it is what it is. Let's jump into things. As always, we have sinkers and floaters. And my sinker this week is statues, and not the typical statue news that you hear. And that is because Wiener Man was stolen at a restaurant in Charleston, West Virginia. The owner of a Virginia restaurant that was heavily damaged by a fire has also had his Wiener statue stolen, as you see here on the screen. This is Wiener Man, and he was stolen
Wiener
from the Dairy Wrinkle. Yeah, Wiener was snatched. Campbell's Creek during a break-in sometime after the January 11th fire. And unfortunately, Wiener Man is on the loose. They have not identified a suspect, but are seeking information. So if you live anywhere near Charleston, West Virginia, and you know somebody that got their grubby little mitts on Wiener Man, you make sure that you turn him into the police, because we need to get this gentleman his statue back.
Imagine being the person on the run with the Wiener Man.
Yeah, that you can't get caught red-handed with Wiener Man in the car.
No. Have you ever seen the Entourage? Any of you ever watch Entourage?
Yeah.
The one
No,
where
I didn't watch it.
His buddy steals one of a famous director's favorite toy or whatever. And what they did was, when they went back, they just took it, wrapped it up, and then threw it back in the driveway of the house. If somebody does that with Wiener Man, brings them back nicely, we'll let this go.
Yep, no questions asked. Bring Wiener Man back
now. But I'm gonna put this picture down. But I think I want a Wiener Man.
Yeah, I would find some room here.
That sounded wrong. A Wiener Man statue.
Yeah, I think we would all be okay with a Wiener Man statue in the house.
That'd be pretty sweet. Fellas, my sinker is the Baseball Hall of Fame. I just don't understand it. Barry Bonds not even on the ballot anymore. Scott Rowland, really good baseball player. Not sure if he's first ballot Hall of Fame, or I don't know if it's his first time on the ballot, but
no.
I just don't think
Scott Rowland to me is in the Hall of Very Good.
And maybe he's a Hall of Famer.
I hate to say this because
other guys get in.
I hate to say this because I know one of my friends who I think listens to every episode is a very, very big Cardinals fan. And I hate to say this, but I do think after hearing and seeing some numbers from Roland, his defensive WAR alone was 25 in his career. A Hall of Fame player is usually over 40.
Only guy going in. And when there's other guys who
I'm just saying,
you're right. He's probably a
and
Hall
then
of Famer.
To say he was like a 75 WAR player though with offense too, that's banana land. That's crazy. So when you combine his
in the Baseball Hall of Fame is a joke, absolute joke.
And I agree with that as well. Don't get me wrong. I think it should just be let's remember and recognize guys who had long, very good, or otherwise extremely good careers. So
we're never connected to steroids.
Like, I don't care. Fucking bring them all in. Bring all the steroids.
No, what I'm saying is that's what's going on right now.
I'm saying get everybody in.
Really
get
good
all the
players.
Good players. Let's talk about every era. Who was good, who wasn't. Baseball's a great sport for history. Let's fucking tell the story.
And say what you want.
So just get
for Barry Bonds.
But like Andrew Jones should be in there.
Joke.
Andrew Jones was a fucking snub.
Yes.
And
the voting system is like Scott Rowland's the only one. I think it's Fred McGriff and him, but still like only two guys, and like you have to have over a 75% vote. Like it's just they make it so hard to get in.
Dude, the thing with Rowland is when you stack his numbers against other third basemen, and his numbers are outstanding. They're
very good third baseman, and
they stick out. Like, and he was there
old school too.
He played like 16 years, dude. He played a long time at a very, very high level for two good teams.
Speaking of that, a veteran player, I'm gonna throw this in here. I listened to the Joey Votto interview today on the Compound.
There's probably another guy who could have
amazing.
Probably isn't a Hall of Famer.
But he talked about how Scott Rowland was a guy who, unless you're hurt, don't go to the training room. And if you play, you try and play every single day, and you work hard and this and that. He said that Ken Griffey was probably the best player he ever played with, but that Scott Rowland was like the toughest and most hardworking.
Dude, Joey Votto, look at the key numbers. He's got a 64 WAR career, over 2,000 hits, 340 homers, and almost a 300 average. 926 career OPS.
That's the way he talks about baseball it was amazing.
Joey Votto's probably Hall of Famer, and he's like you said, just dynamic, like fucking personality. Like that guy is like awesome for the sport. Every time he's mic'd up, he's entertaining as hell. He's kind of like a little bit of a throwback to like the old school player, a little bit of a red ass at times, but still finds like the fun in the game still, I guess. I like that guy.
Again, Baseball Hall of Fame stinks.
Totally.
I feel like I
don't even know the Hall of Fame stinks. I think it's the writers that stink.
Well, yeah,
it's like their own little fucking boys club. It's the only time they ever have power with anything.
Yeah,
so they flex it.
I do think there's got to be like a happy medium between the basketball and the baseball Hall of Fame, because like I feel like in basketball, like everybody
basketball's like a fucking sieve, dude.
Yeah,
come on in, boy. Let's go.
They put in 10 to 12 people a year.
Yeah,
they put like 6 man and shit in.
And baseball's putting 1 person in.
Yeah, you make a good point, though, Zach. It's like the comparison, though, to like, okay, we're still doing this whole Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens. You could even go as Andy Pettitte, Manny Ramirez.
Everybody cheated, dude. Everybody's cheated in some way. Let's let them in. Come on, what are we doing?
If you're gonna keep doing this, then it makes like last year, David Ortiz gets in. Like, so we just pick and choose which steroid guys we want.
Pal with all the writers, dude. He jerked them all up, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
buddy with everybody.
Yeah, it's annoying. I'm with you there. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it's all like who did what for me club.
100%. Maddie, you got a sinker for us this week?
I do. It's this program, website, chat program, Chat GPT. I don't know if anybody has heard of this, seen it, or whatever, but the main feature of Chat GPT is, according to a PC Guide, to give it a definition that I hope everybody can understand, is it's a program that's generating responses like those humans would provide in a text box. Therefore, it's suitable for chat bots, AI system conversations, and virtual assistants. It can also give natural answers to questions in a conversational tone and generate stories and poems. Moreover, ChatGPT can write code, write an article, translate, debug, write a story or poem. Now, though, in these it came out in November, I think, for public use. People are using it from everything from students writing papers in high school and college, which is dynamite. I love it. Like, I love the ingenuity here. It passed like an MBA test at a major university.
Yeah.
And then we've got BuzzFeed, I just saw today, is using it to generate content like blog posts and other content for that BuzzFeed puts out in place of actual writers. Like, what are we going to do now? Like, it's going to be WebMD at some point where you just go there, get your prescription from fucking an AI WebMD thing, and here we go. Like, I think basically what it comes down to, and I think we just got to face it, is the war on robots is here at this point. And I think we've got to get control of this before
we've already lost. We've
got to get control of this before it gets out of hand. So
and those videos are like the robot dogs from like Boston Dynamics. They're just getting better and better. The robots are writing
the ones
blogs.
that are carrying fucking rifles on their back.
Yeah. This is a losing battle that I think, like Zach said, I feel like we've already lost.
Yeah, I don't know how we stand a chance with that because
I'll just go ahead and
go evil.
Yeah, I'll just get ahead of it. I'm going to try and side with the robots and hope they don't kill me. So
somebody said, I heard somebody talking about it's water, a hard factor. They talk about it being water. They can't get through water, especially salt water. So live near salt water.
No, we are about as far away from salt water as you can get here in Illinois.
I agree. Lake Michigan might have enough of a buffer, maybe.
Well, maybe I'm going to start building that moat around my house. I've always wanted to put so. Be pretty sick. Moving into floaters, and mine is the Massachusetts Lighting Company because they have been raking in money because at a Western Massachusetts high school, I'm probably going to butcher this, but the Minneshaug Regional High School, they had a computer malfunction and their lights have now been on for a year and a half. They haven't been able to shut the lights off in the school because everything's computerized. So at the end of this month, we'll finally, they've gotten the computer glitch fixed, but their lights have been on at this school night and day for a year and a half. So the electric company is just swimming in money in Western Mass.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing, like my wife gets mad when I leave the lights on, like when I go to work. Could you imagine leaving the lights on in your house for a year and a half?
All of them.
and like the assistant superintendent had a quote that said, obviously, dude, we are very much aware that this is costing taxpayers a significant amount of money. Yeah, dude, you left the lights on for 18 months.
Yeah, you guys have a $1 billion bill.
He said it is costing them well over $1,000 a month, but not quite close to tens of thousands of dollars. They have 7,000 lights in a 284,000 square foot building.
It's funny to drive by every night and it's just like that thing's still on.
2 in the morning and the hallways are just lit up.
That's insane.
Oh, it's so funny.
You would think that like that would be a problem you could fix pretty easily.
You might want to install some solar panels to help offset that or something.
Yeah, a couple, wind turbines, something like that. You got to try.
My floater is saying I worked out because I went outside and shoveled the snow. I worked out today.
Yeah,
I gotta say. Hey,
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, especially like I don't know. I've got like a decently sized driveway, and like, dude, they actually say that like shoveling your snow is like the most common time for a heart attack. So be careful out there, Zach.
Well, that's not good. But the worst thing about mine is like it's at an angle, so as I go down, like I start slipping every time.
Yeah,
losing my footing.
Yeah, this week I'm going to need access to that security camera at your house because I know you're going to eat it at some point.
I know, that's the thing. I do have everything on camera now if I'm outside.
Yeah, so when you biff it, I want to be able to capture that and put
That
it
would
on
be
Twitter.
tough.
Yeah,
In the same vein as that, the guy who's the Cardinal fan I was just speaking of, I've also got a video from his Ring doorbell one time in the summer when he fucking fell in his yard. He set a sprinkler out and came running around and slipped on the driveway. And it was all caught in his camera. He sent us the video. I turned it into a GIF. And so every now and then I just send him the GIF of him fucking slipping and falling in the driveway from his camera. I love it.
That's awesome. What else are friends for?
That's right. That's right. My floater this week is whirly ball. My wife booked an event for a couple of my friends and then my family last weekend to celebrate for my birthday, and it was at Whirly Ball in Naperville. It's over by Top Golf, and it's basically lacrosse in bumper cars. So you're all each person's driving a bumper car, and you've got like the old black plastic like scoopers, like with the wiffle ball. And there's a target up on the wall, and you throw towards that to try to score. It's fucking dynamite. Absolutely a blast. Very, very fun. So shout out to my wife for coming up with that one. It was super, super fun. So if you guys get a chance to go up that way, very fun time. They've got a nice bar, good food, all kinds of stuff there, dude. And they've got a couple bowling lanes too, like you can bowl while you're there as well. But we just did whirly ball, so super fun. So shout out to that place. It was a blast.
I've driven past that, obviously the Top Golf there on the interstate, and I've always seen that building next to it. I had no idea that's what it was.
It's super, super fun. I'm telling you, check out the website. You'll see it's a very, very fun event. Fun game to play.
You have piqued my interest. Whirly ball. You said Aurora?
Naperville.
It's
right at 59 and 88.
I'm going to have to start doing some research because that sounds super fun. Oh, I'm seeing the pictures now.
There's a few others around there. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, I'm seeing the pictures now. This is pretty sweet. I'm all in. Yep, maybe a little TCF outing to the Whirly Ball in Naperville. I am intrigued.
I think got to get a league somehow. That'd be sweet.
Oh, yeah. That looks like a good time. Things that are not a good time. Let's jump into the TCF Sports Minute. Very much not a good time. The Bulls, 22-26, lost tonight in Charlotte on Thursday. 10th in the East. They're 4.5 games out of the 6th seed. I mean, I feel like we're just
losses too lately.
It's just the same conversation with this team. I mean, they're just gonna middle around there, that play-in tournament all year, and then they're gonna sneak in and say, well, we made the playoffs, but I guess a lot of that depends on what happens at the trade deadline. But I mean, you lose by 6 or 15 to a Charlotte team that's 14-36. This is more than a winnable game. I
think it's February 9th is the trade deadline. What are the Bulls going to do?
I wish I knew.
Hopefully get max value for everything we got.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They might make the playoffs, but they ain't going to make it far.
Here's the issue. I'm looking at the box score right now from Thursday's game, from the night we're recording. Really solid night from the starters. How many bench points do you think that the Bulls combined for?
12.
Matt?
I'm gonna go 13.
11.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. I went the wrong way.
Jones had 3, Kobe White had 6, Caruso had 2. And Jones, White, and Caruso played 23, 26, and 24 minutes. That's awful.
So bad.
That's awful. I mean, out of the starting lineup, you got 15 out of Williams, 28 out of DeRozan. Vooch had 12. That's a huge contribution. Thanks for that, bud. Levine with 18 and Ayo with 12. Obviously you want more out of Vooch, but at the end of the day, you're not going to win a ton of NBA games when you're scoring 11 points on the bench.
No, and the leads they have always go away.
Yeah. Gave up 30 in the third quarter and 34 in the fourth to lose the game.
And in the game before this, they blew a lead, gave it up at the end to the Pacers. It's just it's like they beat the good teams and then lose to the bad teams.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bad loss. Charlotte is the second to last team in the East. It's the Bulls are, I believe, on the road 9-16. Yeah, 9-16.
I think the Hornets had lost their last 5 home games.
Yeah, they're 6-16 at home. I mean, it's. I don't. Do you try and move Zach LaVine? Do you try and move DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah, move everybody.
Yeah,
get rid of them all.
The problem, and Matt, you said it earlier. You want the max return on it, but like, what is a team going to give up for Nikola Vucevic right now?
It doesn't matter anymore. But my point is, at this point, or if you have all of these guys, or if you get rid of them all, are you any closer to winning a championship either way?
No.
Okay. So
best
get your
case
money and
scenario,
start over again.
Best case scenario, this team makes the play-in tournament. And as of right now, actually, they slipped to the 9 seed. They're behind the Wizards. To the 11 seed. Best case scenario, you make the play-in tournament.
Does that get them in that tournament play-in fucking thing? Being the
11th,
you got to be the 10.
No, I think 10th place is.
Got it.
7 through 10.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. And then so you best case scenario, you win that, and then you get to face either the Celtics or the 76ers or the Bucks.
That'll go well.
At best case scenario, you get 5 games with.
Where's Nate Robinson? The fucking Nate Rob series.
Seriously. It's just basketball purgatory again.
Speaking of that, some happy things to think about. They talked about the Boston Celtics Bulls series. Would that have been 06?
I think so. No,
that was 2009.
Yeah, no,
that was my senior year of high school.
So it'd been Derrick Rose's rookie year when they played that series.
Yeah,
that was amazing. That was awesome.
The Nate Rob series.
I don't know if that was
that was a little bit later.
The Nate Rob series was after that.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm going back to something else.
Gotcha.
Thinking about. They were talking about
that was 2009.
The top 25 moments, and thinking about that series when Joakim slammed on Paul Pierce, and Derrick Rose was a rookie and just was, going crazy.
This one?
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
And I think Paul Pierce fouled out because of that.
That's the one. I know that was 2009 because that was the year I graduated high school, and we had senior prom like a month before graduation. And my buddy Dylan Packenham, shout out Dylan, had an iPhone. No one had an iPhone then, and we watched that playoff game at prom at dinner on his iPhone, all huddled up around it. So yeah, that was 2009. But yeah, that seems like a long way away. And that's what the Bulls are, is they're a long way away right now. Also a long way away from really anything productive. The Blackhawks, I guess, the 14, 28, and 4, 32 points, worst record in the NHL. Are the Blackhawks winning too much right now?
Maddie said not yet.
Not yet. They're still, in terms of least amount of points, they're right there. They're going to get 2 tonight, it looks like, with about 10 minutes to go on Thursday night against Calgary. They're up 4-1, but they're still going to be, I think, second overall in fewest points per game. So, in terms of where they're trending, it's the right direction towards hopefully winning the lottery. But I think once they get to the deadline and start offloading some of the talent, it's going to be, really bad then.
Matt, I want to ask, because I know they're playing them right now, but what happened to Calgary? Weren't they make a little deep playoff run there last year?
Yeah, but now Johnny Hockey left.
Oh, that's right.
Then so they brought in Huberdeau there, which he's a good player, but so the team's been shaken up so much. Yeah, they've lost a lot of what they had the last few years. Defensemen haven't been the same. So.
Did Boudreaux go to, or
he's in Columbus?
I was thinking it was Philly for some reason, but
yeah, he's in Columbus. I think Philly was where he was kind of rumored to be headed. In Columbus,
that must have been it.
Because he went there as a free agent this offseason.
Now, I know I've said this a million times, I'm very much a hockey casual, but is Boston really this much better than the rest of the NHL?
Dude. Pasternak's fucking incredible, dude.
They're 12 points better than the second best team in the NHL.
That whole team, dude, they just keep year in and year out. They're still fucking really good every year. I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
I mean, 38, 6-4 with 80 points before the end of January.
I mean, like Marchand, who's like still playing well, and Patrice Bergeron. Like, you got all these guys who've been around for fucking ever. And then you had, Pasternak's like probably one of the most talented players in the league in terms of just skill set. Like, he's incredible. Top to bottom, they're tough. They score. They've had good defensemen for years. It's like it's what the Blackhawks really should have been after, if they didn't hack up their roster so poorly with the wrong extensions for people.
For sure. Moving into some college hoops now that football in at least our area is done. Little Illinois hoops update. We did this quite a bit last year. I'll run it down. University of Illinois 14-6. Not what everybody was expecting after all the success the last couple of years. 14-6, not a bad record, but Northwestern sneaky 14-5 right now, playing some really good hoop up in Evanston. Actually, they are sitting higher than Illinois in the Big Ten as we record. I think arguably the best team in the state of Illinois, 17-5, Southern Illinois Salukis, playing really good ball right now. 17 wins before the end of January. That's pretty impressive. And then let's see, who do we got next as far as wins go in Illinois?
Was it
Bradley?
Eastern? The other night that the kid scored 47 points.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I don't know if it was a kid from Eastern Illinois or what it was, but it was tied for like the most in a game for D1.
That's really impressive because Eastern is 7-14 right now. They're the worst.
I could be wrong. I thought it was an Illinois school.
Interesting. I'll have to check in on that. Bradley 14-8, ISU at 8-14. NIU with a huge win the other night over previously undefeated in the MAC, Kent State. They beat Kent State in DeKalb the other night, but they are sitting at 8-12 currently. So I guess I went through all this to say that college hoops in the state of Illinois and Loyola, I looked it up. I believe they're like 9-15, maybe somewhere around there, 9-14. Not great in the state of Illinois, and I didn't even bother to look up Chicago State, but now I'm very curious as to what Chicago State is, so I'll have to look that up here. Loyola is actually 7-13. They are in last in the conference. That doesn't. 5-17, I believe, for Chicago State. So things aren't looking great here in the state of Illinois when arguably Southern Illinois is the best team in the state. So
I really wish Northern would ever fucking get good at basketball. It'd be so awesome.
It drives me insane as an alumni because it's what 60 minutes outside of the city, and I mean they bring in
20 minutes from me. That's what I'm being selfish here. I want to be able to go. Like I'm thinking about March 3rd is a Friday. Eastern Michigan goes there, so I'm thinking about going there to see Bates play.
Yeah,
I figure that might
actually look at that one too. It's so funny because then, like when I was there, they bring in Mike Montgomery, who was Izzo's right hand man, and it never panned out. It never got to a good point. And before him was Ricardo Patton, who was at Colorado. He was bad, and they got this new guy in who I believe was at DePaul, I want to say, Bruno. But it's just like that. It's so close and in such a good spot, and they haven't been to the NCAA tournament.
Good facility. The Convo Center is nice. The Convo Center is a nice place.
And like the whole athletic, I mean, look what the football program's done. The athletics has obviously benefited from that. They have a beautiful auxiliary gym, a practice gym. They have that indoor facility, and that's used by mainly football, but like they still use the training and the weight room and everything there. Good facilities. It's a solid school, and they just cannot figure it out.
They've got to be able to get that second tier Chicago suburb athlete, because there's a lot of good players in the Chicago suburbs and in the city that are that kind of fly under the radar from that top tier of the recruits, and they've got to be getting those guys. The guys that seem to go play well at Creighton or fucking Northern Iowa or you know what I mean, like South Dakota State. They've got to be the ones getting those guys. You know, that's just all it's going to come down to.
You're never going to get, the Braden Huffs who go to, go to Gonzaga or, guys like that.
I'm not saying they should even get like that kid that went to Duke from Yorkville, like Jaden Schutt last year.
Yeah.
Like, he's a high level recruit. I'm not expecting you to get that kid that's that local, but they've got to be getting, that next tier below that are going to other mid majors there's a lot of mid major basketball players in Chicago and in the suburbs, especially those guys.
I thought they were making a turn. They picked up Xavier Amos from Whitney Young, who went to the state championship last year. Picked him up as a solid recruit. He was like a 3-star recruit. But right now it's Simeon. There's a pair of brothers. I'm drawing a blank on their name right now. But one of them is going to Loyola and the other one is going to Northern Iowa. Like, why is NIU not in the mix on kids like that?
That's right. I couldn't agree more.
And you could, if you're a fan of Illinois State, you could make that same argument, or Chicago State, or any of these schools we talked about, Eastern, Western, it doesn't matter. It just feels like these interstate schools are just not doing a great job at keeping kids that are, like you said, Maddie, in those middle tiers.
Well, fine. There's a lot of other good players in the MAC that are from the Chicago burbs. Why are you letting other MAC schools out recruit you in Chicago? You should get any kid in Illinois that's going to a MAC school should be going to Northern.
One of the best players I've seen this year is a wing out of Bennett Academy in Lisle. And granted, I know it's because it's Ivy League, but he's going to Dartmouth, and their point guard is going to Johns Hopkins. There's talent here. You got to keep it here. Shout out Western, though. Western is 12-8, playing really solid ball out there.
Got another win tonight.
Yeah, the Leather. They did win tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who they beat?
No, I just saw the final. Someone tweeted the ending of the game because it was it hit the over and money line at the last second.
I really like what Western's doing right now. Obviously, Eastern's struggling, Illinois State's struggling, but there's some decent hoop. Western, yeah, they did win 13-8. That's gonna drive me nuts. I got it pulled up right here. They beat South Dakota tonight, 3 points. That's a great win. So that is the TCF Sports Minute. And before we go any farther, we got to give a shout out to our sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. They have the best coffee around that you're going to find. Work with Dom Frederick, work with Ian Happ. Quality stuff. You can't get any better coffee. We know we've been to the headquarters, and actually coming up right after this ad read is a great interview with our friend Caleb, who owns, operates, and founded Connect Roasters. So make sure that you catch them at connectroasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. So let's go ahead. We'll kick it to our interview with founder of Connect Roasters, Caleb Benoit. Ladies and gentlemen, the coffee goat is back. Caleb, the founder of Connect Roasters Coffee, the producer of the best quality coffee that you can find, that I have come across, period. They work with our guys, Dom Frederick and Ian Happ. You've seen our visits to their headquarters back last spring and summer. Then there's actually this company's product has turned me into a coffee guy. I'm getting there. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, from Connect Roasters out of Bourbonnais, product of Olivet Nazarene, Caleb Benoit. Caleb, how are you, my man?
I'm good. That's one of the better introductions I think I've ever received. I need to record that and take that around with me.
Feel free. Clip it up, Zach. Send it to him in an email. It was a little rusty. It's been a while since I've given an intro here, so it wasn't a 10. I'd give myself 8.1. I could do you better one.
At least. I had it closer to 9. Thanks, boys. Thanks.
He spends his whole school day thinking about that.
Got to stay occupied.
That's right. You guys drinking some coffee now, or is it too late in the day for you?
It's too late for me, but my grandpa was a big coffee drinker, and he could drink a cup of coffee at 10:30 at night and go to bed at 10:40.
Yeah, I think
I'm not that way. I'll be up all night.
I think that generation just drank coffee from sun up to sundown and didn't really think twice about it.
Oh
just
yeah,
know, like,
it'd be nuts.
just built up an insane tolerance.
Immune to caffeine.
Yeah.
You think he's had so much of it, just his tolerance is so high.
Yeah. One of my stupid New Year's resolutions was to consume less caffeine because I feel like I overdo it almost every day. So I've been trying to ease back on that. So if I had one now, I'd probably be up till 2 or 3 in the morning. So it'd probably throw me off. But like I said, man, when we were out and obviously saw around the headquarters, and I told you I'm not a coffee guy, and those pods that we got, and I'll tell you, man, those teas we got out at your guys' place, absolutely love those.
Well, I appreciate you guys making the trip down. I know that's not necessarily a short trip for you guys, but yeah, it's fun seeing you face to face and interacting some. Those events that we host, and we'll be doing more this year. They're just cool opportunities to connect with people that you meet online, you talk to on social media, but maybe don't have the opportunity to get to know face to face. And so, anytime we can facilitate some of those face-to-face meetings, that's always gratifying. That's always a good time.
Absolutely.
And speaking of that, we saw you guys were at CubsCon this weekend, face-to-face with the people. How was that?
Oh man, it was awesome. It was awesome. It was a great weekend. We were up there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the weekend of Cubs convention. If you guys have gone, you kind of know how it's laid out. We were up on the 4th level, like right outside the ballroom, where a lot of the player stuff was happening. Red carpet. Ian recorded the Compound podcast in there. There were a lot of the player sessions that were happening up there. So yeah, we had a great location. Sold a bunch of product. Met so many Connect Roasters supporters. So many members of the Home Run Club. Obviously it's a lot of people who are from, Chicagoland area, but I met Home Run Club members from Oklahoma, California. Again, like just talking about this idea of like, we build these relationships online, email, social media, whatever, but to be able to put faces with names and meet people in person in real life. It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing as a business owner to have those conversations with your customers face to face, and get feedback, mix it up. So yeah, just a great weekend. First time at Cubs convention too. Never been there as a business, never been there as an individual. Didn't know what to expect, but it was a good time.
Yeah, I saw that there was a video of people waiting in line at like 4 a.m. to get in. Is it that wild?
It was crazy. So we got there, Nick from our team and I got there at like 8:30 on Friday morning. And there were people in the lobby or one of the lobby areas who had clearly been there all night. Like we walked in, there was like stacks of pizza boxes, guys trading like baseball cards. Yeah. So it's, it's some diehards. They're there to see their people, to meet the players, get autographs. And yeah, it's crazy.
So was the event at the Zachary Hotel, that was separate, right?
Yeah, there were 2 events that weekend. So the Cubs convention was at the Sheridan Grand Riverwalk, I think it's called, right on the river there. And then, yeah, we did an event on Sunday at Hotel Zachary across the street from Wrigley Field. We did a launch party. We started supplying coffee to Hotel Zachary, and to celebrate the start of that partnership, we did a launch party. Ian did some guest bartending. We had 3 coffee cocktails on the menu. So that was a good time too. It was between the two, it was a full weekend.
So beyond that, the Hotel Zachary, is that all it's cracked up to be? Obviously, we've only seen pictures. That place looks phenomenal. Being inside and see it, is it all everybody makes it out to be?
It's a beautiful space. I mean, first of all, like you can't beat the location, right? Like it's literally right across the street from Wrigley Field. But yeah, it's a beautiful space. We did the event in the bar on the 2nd level, I think. And it's a gorgeous space. If you saw some of the photos or the videos that we shared, just premium environment, food and drink are both great. We're really proud to have, our product in a place like that, in an environment like that. Hoping to do some more events there in the future. Maybe this summer in the middle of the baseball season would be a good time for that. But yeah, really proud and excited to have that partnership.
Well, I was going to say, hell of a name too.
Hotel Zachary.
Yeah, I was like, man, the only way I could really stay there would be if they were just to be like, hey, your name's Zachary, you can stay
comp your room,
dude. If you're not getting comped rooms, something's not something's not right, man. You need to be getting that discount.
But yeah, that location has to be just perfect.
I mean, yeah, like I think some of those, I actually haven't been in any of the rooms yet, but some of those rooms, like, they look out across the street and you see Wrigley, right? Like what better backdrop could you want? So yeah, you need to talk to those people there. We'll get you on the phone with PM and see what kind of discount we can negotiate for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna need something to stay there.
I think
But-
the Ian told me the players get a discount there, so maybe you can get a player discount somehow.
Yeah, I mean, hey Ian, can I borrow that, please? It's like, Jake said, the perfect location, but even like in the wintertime with the background of when they had all the Christmas stuff going on too.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the Cubs are trying to do more and more with that space, on Gallagher Way, apart from just, Cubs games at home, right? And so, yeah, they had the Winterland event there this winter as part of the Chris Kindle Market series. We actually supplied the coffee that was in the little huts outside of Wrigley. So that was a fun thing. But yeah, I love seeing things happen there, not just during baseball season, but during the winter months. Yeah, and if you live in Chicago or the Midwest, right, like you gotta have something to look forward to in like December and January.
And that's got to say something to you.
Too, so might as well use it.
100%.
Exactly. He's got to say something to you as a business owner when you say about, supplying stuff for, this event, and obviously how far the company has come, and you're, working, with the hotel there and everything. That's got to say something to the hard work that you guys have put in and the quality of the product that you're putting in. Because it's not like you're getting your hotel put into like a Motel 6, right? You're going into a luxury hotel in the, heart of Chicago. I think that is such a compliment to what you guys are doing. Have you had that moment where you step back and be like, man, that is pretty damn cool?
Yeah. And I think, that Sunday when we co-hosted that event, I think that was one of those moments, right? Like you take a step back or pause for a moment. You're like, oh, this is pretty cool. Cool environment. Again, seeing the Connect faithful out, talking to Ian, enjoying the food and drink. And yeah, I think, for us as a brand, those are the types of partnerships that we want to pursue. Not every business is a good fit for that type of thing. We want to be working and looking to work with organizations and people who, appreciate quality, care about doing things the right way. And so, yeah, Hotel Zachary is one of those. They place a priority or a premium on high quality stuff. And so I think that's one of the reasons why it works.
Yeah, it was cool to see the the little menu part, and then you got Connect Roaster and Hotel Zachary on there. It's very cool to see. Like you said, you see it, you think about it, but then when you actually see it, it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, something like that, there's a fair amount of work that goes in kind of behind the scenes and ahead of time. And then when you finally see the thing, right, like you see the logo on the menu, or, you're in there in the moment, seeing the product being served and people enjoying it. It's like, yeah, this was worth all the effort and the work. And it makes it worthwhile. It's fun to see the fruits of your labor.
Kind of going off of that, so 2022 was a big year from an outsider's perspective for Connect Roasters. What did 2022 do for you guys? And then linking up with Ian Happ too.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nice year of growth for us in a lot of different ways. The end of the year, we laid the foundation for some of these things that you see now, right? Like, Cubs convention, Hotel Zachary. We started working on that in 2022. So yeah, the start to some projects. There's some stuff in the works for us right now that was started last year that'll come to fruition this year. We're in the process of actually moving roasting locations. So you guys were in our current location, but we're in the process of moving across town into a bigger space that I think is going to be better for us, having more room and facilitate growth. And then we're looking to open a cafe in 2023. And so a lot of the homework that has gone into that, started last year, even the year before, right? So yeah, some of these projects are the cool things that happen. It's easy to look at those and be like, oh, that's awesome. But sometimes you don't think about, or sometimes I even forget, like, man, we've been laying the foundation for this, or the groundwork for this for 12 to 24 months, if that makes sense.
Because you guys started as a company in 2016, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So yeah, this is, I mean, a culmination of, and you're still not even to the end goal, right? You know, there really is no end goal when running a business, but like you're still 7 years in, and look what you've done now. I mean, that's, you know, that's a really cool thing to see. And you know, we had come out to those. I can't remember exactly what you call, but I called them the coffee classes.
Yeah.
At the headquarters. And I know you had mentioned about doing more. Anything specific you guys got in mind? Because I think we came to the roasting one and the espresso class.
Yeah, so roasting espresso, those were popular, sold out. So we're going to be doing those again in this year when we get into the new facility. So roasting espresso, and then just a general kind of like seed to cup education class that includes some tastings. You know, one of the things that's fun to do is put a couple different coffees next to each other, try them side by side, and see how they're different, right? You know, generally speaking, coffee from Africa tastes different than coffee from Central America. Sometimes it's hard to identify those differences if you drink, you know, one day and one the next. When you've got them brewed side by side and you're going back and forth, it's easier to see those things. It's, for a coffee nerd like me, that's fun. Maybe it's not fun for everybody, but so yeah, we'll do a class like that as well. That's in our plans.
Because when we came out for the class, even like just at the headquarters, it did have like a cafe kind of vibe in a way. So I could tell like that's where you guys kind of wanted to go to.
Yeah, you know, I think in a facility like that, you know, some of the equipment that you see in a cafe, we need to have behind the scenes in our production facility to be doing like quality control and testing and things like that. So, yeah, the environments can look similar, right? Like, you know, when we open a cafe, we're obviously going to have an espresso machine and an espresso grinder there. Well, we need one of those so we can be doing quality control and testing, you know, as we're roasting coffee. So yeah, those environments can look the same. Less seating in in the production space, but yeah, I mean, I think we're looking forward to opening the cafe in a lot of ways. That'll be kind of the next chapter for our business. And I think that'll open up some more opportunities. So it's exciting in a lot of different ways.
Maybe a little idea here. We've talked, I'm obviously a coffee dummy. Maybe one of your classes, like beginner coffee for dummies, because I would fit perfectly in for that.
You're the first guy to buy the ticket. No, that's great.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
We love hearing feedback from customers. It's like those classes are all about education, right? So like whatever our people want to learn about, like that's what we should be teaching. So yeah, I think, you know, being someone who knows a bit about coffee and doing this for a while, like sometimes you take for granted the fact that, you know, some of your customers don't know the same things that you do. So if we can download that learning to people who want to learn, like that's a win. So coffee for dummies, I love it. Coffee 101.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, I was watching when Ian Happ was making the coffee at the booth, and I had no idea what was going on there.
I mean, he's an advanced coffee brewer. So I think what you saw in the video was he was brewing on a Chemex, which is a pour over coffee brewer. Mm-hmm. And I think he had maybe a couple side by side or even three of them. And so, yeah, he was like pouring water into one and then pouring water into the next one. So it's just a manual way to brew coffee. But in 2022, we launched like custom Chemex brewers. So it's like this glass carafe and it's got this wood collar around it. Well, we engraved the Connect Roasters logo and then Ian's signature into that wood collar. And then it has a little ball on the end. And so we engraved like baseball stitches on that ball. So it looks like a baseball. And then we did custom color leather straps on it, blue and red, you know, Cubs color.
That's awesome.
So, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of a meta moment, right? Like you've got Ian Happ brewing coffee on Ian Happ's coffee brewer.
Signed by Ian Happ.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's a meta thing.
Have you noticed, like, I guess it's like I got on TikTok, you know, probably the same time everybody did. And like, there's, you know, I don't know if it's just my algorithm or because I was at your guys' headquarters and they know too much, but like I've seen a lot more of like coffee content through TikTok. Do you feel like the social media like use of all that stuff has grown people into, you know, kind of more than just like going to Starbucks and get a coffee, like more into home brewing and stuff that, you guys teach about. And
yeah, it feels like it, compared today to 5 or 10 years ago, it feels like people care more about like brewing at home. They want to be brewing the right way and the best coffee possible. Yeah, I mean, like you walk into a specialty cafe and it's just kind of like Instagrammable, right? Like there's so many cool photo opportunities, whether it's, the latte art that got poured into your cup, right? It's a heart or a Rosetta or something like that. It's just like, oh, it's a perfect photo. So I think the coffee space and the cafe environment lends itself to good looking photos and videos. But yeah, it does feel like the consumer today is maybe a little bit more advanced than 5 or 10 years ago, caring about, like I said, how coffee is brewed at home, or even being smarter when they're shopping as a consumer, right? Like walking into a shop and knowing maybe the type of coffee that they want to take home with them to brew, that type of thing. So yeah, I think consumers are more educated and sophisticated today than 5 years ago.
because like the dorky part of my brain, like the map, the geography part that you guys did an awesome job with, was explaining like where these certain beans came from and like your travels to get to these places and how all that stuff kind of comes together. I think that, like, when you almost give people a little backstory, it, like you said, you're more informed, you are more, you have an understanding of where your product comes from. And obviously you guys have a big part of, doing things the right way and getting them from the right places and making sure that you have high quality stuff. Like that stuff really shows, when you're bringing that information and that product to the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, I think that context is meaningful, right? Like that's why people seek out that information. It helps them, better enjoy the product. I don't think that's saying too much. Like, that coffee that you have tomorrow morning, at least having a general idea of where that comes from in the world, like for whatever reason, I think it leads to a more enjoyable experience. And like some people don't care to get into all the nuances or the details, but I think generally speaking, the more you know about the product you're consuming, the more you appreciate it. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So with you guys obviously having this great relationship with Ian Happ, is there any plans to maybe expand to more players? Or, I mean, because I've seen a lot of the stuff with, I think it was even Talon, that Ian had sent him coffee. Was it leaving last year before they even knew that he was still with the Yankees and stuff like that? It's very cool how it all kind of comes together. I
mean, it definitely feels like coffee consumption on the Cubs might hit an all-time high this year. Some of the new guys. Yeah, Jameson Taillon is a big coffee guy. I read that in New York when he was with the Yankees, he had like a pour over set up like at his locker in the clubhouse. So yeah, I think he's deep into it. He came by the Connect booth on Saturday, I think it was, and we got him a travel mug and filled him up with some coffee to get his day off on the right foot. And then Tucker Barnhart, he was a supporter of the lockout blend that we did at the beginning of last season. I know he's a big coffee guy. So yeah, like we'll see what the season holds, but yeah, I'm optimistic, and I'd like to think that we could be doing some stuff with some other players and maybe the Cubs in general. But yeah, I think regardless that clubhouse is going to be well caffeinated this year.
It'd be so cool just to have like a coffee that you had something to do with, you made, and it's in the clubhouse of a team that you love to cheer for.
I mean, man, if they wanted to invite me into the clubhouse and pour overs on a Chemex, like I'd probably do that. I'll pass out some coffee as guys are hitting the field.
So this might be like, do baseball players gravitate more towards coffee than any other sport? Like, do you think like there could be a connection with like an NBA player in the city or a football player, or does just baseball players lend themselves to being coffee guys? I don't know. It feels like obviously with Ian Happ and us knowing you guys that there's that relationship there, but like, does the coffee game lend itself to other sports too?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's more prevalent in baseball. I don't know if it's because like I don't know, not that it's more leisurely, but there's more downtime and both coffee and baseball have such a rich tradition in this country going back to the late part of the 19th century. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. You do see some guys in other sports like in the coffee game. Jimmy Butler's he's big in the coffee game. He's got a coffee company. He's been doing a ton of stuff around his brand. So it seems like there's guys in the NBA, guys he plays with and against who are in it too. So yeah, I don't know that it's strictly a baseball thing. It seems like there's some NBA attraction there as well. But yeah, maybe there's something about baseball that lends itself to that. I'm not sure.
I think
seems like baseball players
maybe the next
need
one
a
is
little bit in the
golf.
morning.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you think
1 o'clock game, maybe you need some coffee.
Yeah.
It seems like NBA, like they usually play at night. You need the pickup in the morning. I mean, they're NBA and NHL and stuff like that. Their hours are still probably weird, but you would think when you think coffee, you kind of think baseball, the locker room, the clubhouse. They have always somebody drinking coffee, the coach.
Yeah, and like the Cubs specifically, right? Like there's so many day games at Wrigley, and so you got a 1 o'clock start. Like what time are you getting to the clubhouse? I think if I was a player showing up to Wrigley for an afternoon game, I think the first thing I'd want when I get there is probably a cup of coffee. So yeah, that I hadn't thought about like game times. That could have something to do with it, certainly. And that there's almost twice as many games, football games as there is basketball or hockey. So yeah, it's an interesting thought.
Especially early season baseball. It's cold in Chicago.
That's true. Yeah, we've probably all been to games in April where there's been at least some snow flurries, right?
Opening day, 1996.
That's amazing. I can remember I was at opening day on the south side. I'd have to think about what year that was, but it was the coldest I've ever been. I'm like, what do we do? This is ridiculous. We should not be playing baseball in the snow.
It's funny because now being older, my dad took me. I was 5 years old at the time, and my dad and I and one of his buddies went to opening day, and of course it was snowing. I had 2 winter coats on, and my dad said that from like the 4th inning on, he kept asking me like, "Hey, if you want to go to the car, it's getting pretty cold." And of course it was my first Cubs game, so I was like, "No, dude, like I want to stay." So I stayed the whole 9 innings, and he told me later on that he was really hoping that he was so cold that I would be like, "Yeah, let's go ahead and go to the car," but it never happened. So
he's an excuse. Yeah, that's funny. Like like a football game, it's like, okay, yeah, I can get on board with that. That like comes with the territory, but yeah, man, there's nothing more miserable than like sitting and watching 9 innings when you're freezing.
Definitely.
I think a baseball game is the worst spot to be watching the game in cold.
100%.
It just drags on. It seems like that 9 innings takes 7 hours instead of the 3.5 that it probably actually takes.
Yeah, it feels like you're watching a doubleheader.
Yeah,
it's tough. Do they sell coffee at Wrigley Field?
They do. I think for a long time, it was Dunkin' Donuts, I believe, like in the stadium during games. So yeah, I mean that'd be a cool thing for Connect eventually. I don't know exactly, what that could look like, but if Connect Roasters was in the stadium, people can get a cold brew or get a hot coffee. That'd be a win. That'd be a nice opportunity.
They'd be getting better quality coffee.
That's true.
I mean, that'd be cool. I don't know that I've seen any like specialty, quote unquote, specialty coffee roasters doing a lot of like in stadium stuff with in pro sports, but yeah, that'd be a fun exercise.
Yeah, because probably a tough sponsorship. Like I said, they're probably just going to like the Dunkin' Donuts and just going, oh, here we go, that'll work.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of moving parts to those agreements and partnerships. It's a little more than just like the company coming in and setting up shop. When you get to that level of corporate, those are probably complicated relationships.
Before we let you go, Caleb, my wife is kind of making me ask a question. You guys sold the cold brew bottles at Obvious Shirts, correct?
We did. Yep.
Okay. Is that something you're looking at going forward? Because my wife has been asking me about this. She wants her hands on her and her cold brew is it's getting crazy in this house. So
That's fair. So I'll answer your question in a second, but that's certainly one of the trends that we've seen is like cold brew is not just a summertime or hot weather drink. People are drinking cold brew like year round as their preferred coffee beverage. So yeah, your wife is in probably in the majority at this point. She's in good company. So yeah, we would love to be doing more cold brew. We are selling bottles at Cubs convention actually. Yeah, send me a message after this. We don't have like they're not available on the site. We don't have a great system in place. We have been doing some piecemeal stuff with it, and we got some stuff in the works. But yeah, hit me up afterwards, and I'll see if I can make something happen. I owe you guys some stuff anyway, so let's try to make that happen.
Speaking of that, I go to work and I'll have it's 20 degrees out and I'll have an iced coffee and the guys will be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I don't know. I like drinking it, but I probably should have a hot coffee. But it's one of those things. It's like I just like it. But you think about it, that's not something you should probably drink when it's 20 degrees outside and you're working outside.
It's fun. It's funny you mention that because I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. Like I'll drink hot coffee
all year round,
12 months out of the year. It could be 110 degrees in July, and I'm out on on the asphalt, melting and drinking a hot coffee. So, yeah, to each their own, man. It's it's all what you like.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I like about coffee. It is what you can drink what you like.
No judgment. No judgment. You drink it. The best coffee is whatever you like and however you like to drink it.
Facts right there. Well, Caleb, thanks as always for joining us tonight. Make sure everyone out there listening checks out Connect Roasters for your coffee needs. ConnectRoasters.com, on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Caleb, it was great hearing from you again, man. We will definitely be out here soon this spring. Thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure, boys. I appreciate you having me on.
Thank you.
Shout out to our guy Caleb from Connect Roasters. Like we said, make sure you check them out, connectroasters.com, and on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Sounds like some great stuff coming in 2023 for the boys over in Bourbonnais. Let's jump into it, boys. It is NFL Championship week. We've got 3 of the final 4 teams from last year, actually, I believe, except for the Rams and Eagles flip-flop there. First game, Eagles 49ers in Philly at the Link. Philly minus 2.5. What do we guys think? What do you think is going to happen?
I don't think it's going to be close. I think it's Eagles by a lot.
I love Philly.
Oh, we're doomed because I love Philly too.
I think Brock Purdy,
I like Philly a lot.
I think he's a good quarterback, but this Eagles team is unbelievable.
This isn't fucking Dallas's D. I'm just going to tell you that.
St. Dak Prescott going out there.
They have 4 defensive linemen with double-digit sacks. That they don't have to blitz.
And the offensive line is amazing.
Their defensive line is outstanding.
And I don't know what you guys think about this, like the whole Brock Purdy thing. Like it's a fun story, but like at the end of the day, like
Brock Purdy's fine. I don't think he's the issue. I just don't think I don't think he's gonna be able to like have that like epic performance that he's going to need to have to beat Philly. I don't think in Philly, that's a tough place to go, across the country, going West Coast to East. Like it's just like it's not set up very well for him, in my opinion.
I agree. Now, obviously looking forward, I know I was listening to part of my take here today, and I just have this feeling if Brock Purdy can do this with the 49ers offense, so can Trey Lance if he's healthy next year.
Or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, or Tom Brady,
Sounds like they're committed to him for next year.
I mean, on offense, this team it's got Deebo Samuel.
I think he's fine.
They got Christian McCaffrey, Greg Kittle. This team is going to be good going forward.
I'm not going to say he's Kurt Warner, but he's not like it's not like he's just bumblefucking his way to wins. Like he's playing well, dude. Like he's not like playing.
No, that's how good the Eagles defense is.
That's what I'm saying.
Not a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL right now could go into Philadelphia and beat this defense.
I think he's going to struggle with Philly because Philly's going to be up in his fucking face the entire game. And Philly's got playmakers on the other side. Philly's got playmakers. They're not going to, Dallas isn't. It's CeeDee Lamb, and then Pollard got hurt. They don't have the weapons that Philly has. So I don't think it's going to be the walk in the park for San Fran's D that it was last week. Jalen Hurts looked healthy, and if Jalen Hurts is healthy, he was an MVP candidate this year.
Yeah, and like we said, the weapons that they have. I mean, the wide receivers, and I'm not saying that San Francisco doesn't have an amazing, set of skill players, but the Eagles, especially at home with a, even 90% Jalen Hurts, I think that, it's I think it's Philly all day. I think they
Am I wrong when I say AJ Brown's the type of wide receiver that you could just see like putting a fucking team on his back and winning a playoff game by himself? Like, just get the ball to him and he's just gonna fucking bully people down
especially
the
with
field.
The way the last game ended, he's gonna want to go off this game.
Yeah, I think.
And also, Christian McCaffrey has been out of practice all week with the calf injury. He's gonna play, but that's not gonna help.
I want to say I thought I heard Ayuk was out today too from practice. So I think Ayuk's I don't think he's like a danger for missing the game, but I think he is like banged up.
Yeah. Obviously late in the season.
Debo's always banged up.
Yeah. A lot of usage there.
Right.
In the AFC, we got the Chiefs hosting the Bengals. Chiefs -1. I'll say I love the Chiefs -1.
God fucking damn it. Are you serious? Zach, you don't like the Chiefs, do you?
I do not. I love the Bengals.
Okay, good. At least we're not on both of them. So
yeah, because if we were on both, you just take
KC.
all your money and fade it. But
I love KC.
I think Joe Burrow is Patrick Mahomes' kryptonite.
Because he beat him
3-0
in the playoffs.
It says that 3-0. It said 3-0 from a Mahomes-led team. So I don't know if it was the playoffs or not.
The last year's game, I think people are forgetting that KC was kind of like, and they were in control of that game for a good stretch of the game, and they kind of shit it away. So I think it's hard to say like Mahomes lost that game, in my opinion, but I don't know, man. I think people are forgetting like how good this fucking team really is. I don't know.
Bengals
I know like
good too.
The Bengals are very good, but I think Buffalo had some holes that people didn't necessarily recognize, myself included. Like their defensive line they get no pressure at all anymore. With the injuries they had, Von Miller going down, like they don't get any pressure at all. KC's going to get pressure on him. Chris Jones, he's going to be in the backfield. There's no question about that. So I don't think it's going to come as easy as it did last week, for one.
But I don't think it's going to be coming easy for the Chiefs as it was last week either.
Yeah, I agree. That's probably fair.
I guess they said you've been walking without a limp or whatever, but that's going to not feel the greatest. But they have magical medicine that makes that hurt. So
yeah, if that
I like Patrick Mahomes at home too. Like it's just I think it's just a good spot.
It's kind of one of those like rules I've like built into myself. Like I didn't bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs. That came back to bite me in the ass this year. But you don't bet against Bill Belichick in the playoffs. That's starting to fade. But right now I'm in a very much I don't bet against Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. So
I really do like Andy Reid too. I think like that team will be primed and ready to go.
Yeah, if it comes down to a close one, I'm going to trust Andy Reid to outcoach Zach Taylor.
Have you heard of some of the things that he's done at the end of games? That's crazy to say that.
I still trust Andy Reid more than I trust Zach Taylor.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, we will see. It should be a great NFL Sunday, Championship Sunday, always one of the best weekends. So hopefully at least some good games. But let's go ahead and jump to our next segment. We have a new team builder. We've done something similar to this, but this is pretty in-depth here. And this is a build your own fast food lineup for $21. And you have to pick something from each line. So you can't just say, I'm going to skip sides here. You got to pick one thing from each line. This is not a draft, so we're not going to do this snake style. Does anybody want to go first, or you guys want me to lead it off?
I'll go first.
All right, let's hear it.
So I'm going to go with the McDonald's Coca-Cola, first one. Easy. I'd spend $5 on that. That's amazing. I don't know what it is about that, but they're just absolutely amazing.
I don't hate that's not going to be my pick. I will absolutely not criticize that pick.
Then I'm going to go with the Big Mac. Not everyone likes a Big Mac. I know people don't like it, but I love a Big Mac.
It's like a 98-mile-an-hour fastball down the middle. I mean,
I'm going to go with some curly fries. I love some good Arby's curly fries. Those are good. They don't get those fries at every fast food. You get usually the regular fries. These curly fries hit different. Whew. You know what? I'm going to set it up with a nice apple pie. Nice little apple pie for the side. And then end it with, wow.
Well, you've got a couple more.
Oh, I just went side to side. I picked one from each one.
You've got the sandwich and bites left, I think.
I took Big Mac.
No, Big Macs and specialties.
Oh, okay. Oh,
and I think
I'm not even looking over there.
I think you're at. Hang on.
Have I taken too many of the same? Have I taken any of the same?
No, you're good on that end. So you're at 4. You're at 9, 12, 17. You're at $19.
Is that the last thing I got to get?
Hang on. I need to do some. You screwed me up here.
Well, it's not that big of a deal. I'll go with the tacos. The 3 tacos. Those are amazing. I think that's it. Oh, no, I think I need bites, too. I'll go with the McDonald's McNuggets. And I don't even care if that's... I might also...
No, you're actually under budget. You're at $19.
There you go.
There you go. I like it. I'll go next. I've had mine planned out for a while here. I'm starting at the top. I'm going to work my way down. I'm going an In-N-Out double. Those are incredible. With my bites, I'm going Cane's tenders. I absolutely love Raising Cane's, so that puts me at $9. I'll go to specialty. Give me an Arby's beef and shed. $2 there. That's a steal. That's 11. I'm also going to go with curly fries, Zach. I absolutely love that pick. Curly fries are elite. That puts me at 14. I'm gonna go cheap here on the sides. I'm going with the $1 Taco Bell chips and cheese. Those are great. I love those.
Sometimes you get some bad chips.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't disagree, but I love that cheese sauce. I don't know. It's obviously not real cheese, but I can live with myself. I think that puts me at $15. Then I'll go McDonald's Diet Coke. That puts me at 18. I'll use it all. I'll go 21. I'll give me the Bojangles Bowberry biscuit. I had those once down in Atlanta, and it was amazing. So
everything at that place is good.
It looks good.
Bojangles is so good.
Bojangles is top tier place.
Yep, not enough in our area. We definitely need one.
All right, Boomy, I'm going to need your help keeping track of the money here, but I think I'm good on a budget here. So for top row, I'm going to go sandwich or taco. I'm going to go with the Chick-fil-A, but can I get the spicy version for the same price? It's not an option, but the spicy is the way to go, in my opinion. So that's the $5 item. Bites, I'm going to go all the way to the $1. I'm going to go the Wendy's spicy. So I'm going to go double spice here to kick it off. Next round, specialties, I'm going to go $2 on the Arby's beef and cheddar. Next, I'm going to join Zach with the Arby's curly fries on the fries side. I'm spending some dough. We're going Arby's Culver's cheese curds.
You're 14.
Then 14. So I got
7.
Yeah, I'm going to stay under budget here. I'm going to go with the Sonic Cherry Limeade for the drink. Refreshing, good flavor. Mixes with if you want to splash a little vodka or something in there, it's always a good mixer there. And then for the dessert, Wendy's Frosty, bar none, no question.
Yep. That was the only one. I wish I had one.
That's the biggest.
$1.
Wendy's Frosty for $4 is an absolute fucking steal. That's the biggest value on this chart. That would be a $7 item in my opinion.
Yes, I don't disagree there. But can I also ask a question? What in the hell is a Burger King Yumbo? Because first of all, I've never heard of that. Second of all, it looks horrible. In the specialties all the way on the right. Has anybody had
it looks like a cold cut sandwich or of some kind.
Yeah, it's like something you get at Subway.
I like Burger King. I am not eating a cold cut sandwich from Burger King.
No, thank you.
Hard pass. I will say as well, if I wanted to splurge on somewhere else, I would have been perfectly content with $1 Subway cookie. I love Subway's cookies.
Can't beat that.
Let's go ahead and end things up. As always, we have the TCF top 3. And this week we are going to do Barstool Sports personalities, our favorite people at Barstool Sports. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of people left out here. I don't know about you guys. I consider myself a stoolie. I consume a ton of Barstool content. Zach, you're the one that turned me on to Barstool damn near 10 years ago now. So we're big Barstool guys. So does anybody want to go first in the snake draft?
I'll go first.
Third.
Wait, Big Cat.
All right. I knew that was
favorite. He's like when they started the Chicago stuff, like I started, the first things I really ever watched was the original rundowns. Like when they were all doing it from their house and stuff, and I would just watch it every night. And from there they got bigger and bigger. And I mean, they're gonna have a huge place in Chicago, but I think Big Cat has to be the guy that I noticed first.
He's easy 1-1. I mean, it's an obvious.
He's just so funny.
He has mass appeal too. Even my wife doesn't hate.
He's a genuinely good guy.
Yeah, I agree. My first pick, I will go. Who I think is actually the funniest guy. I think it's PFT. I know we went 1-2 with Big Cat and PFT. I love PFT's content. I think he's hilarious. So it's tough to go back to back. Pardon my take, guys, but I'm gonna do it.
Well, I'm going back to back Chicago guys actually, and it's probably my favorite show now of the week is on Tuesdays for the dog walk. First round, I'm taking Chief. Huge Chief fan. I think he's extremely intelligent. I like the way he talks about things on the dog walk. Then the host of the dog walk, host of the draft, host of does a ton of good content. Eddie is the fucking video today where he just pulled over and spotted the Unos connected to the gas station was fucking laugh out loud.
You're going to get 10. You're getting 10 on the pump, and
you're getting a fucking pizza. Slice of deep dish. You know, I just is this where we're at now? Is this? I was fucking literally was laughing in my office to my out loud.
And he goes, "This is where we're at." I think I love it though.
I think those two guys on Tuesdays and together on the dog walk drafts too, but they do that show on Tuesdays where they'll talk about either a current event or a conspiracy or some kind of story in the news or whatever it may be. Fucking love that weekly episode. I think it's a dynamite show.
Man, that's a good pick. That's Eddie in the second round's a steal. I will go with our guy, one of the most reoccurring guests on our show, Frank the Tank. I think Frank is just insanely funny.
He's 1 in a billion.
Yeah. Oh, dude, there is no.
Zach's been going hard at him too. Zach's not letting him get away with anything anymore.
But what I love about this is, Rochelle Ryan. Everyone know who she is?
No.
Porn star.
Oh. Bonk.
She DM'd Frank the Tank about they were in a fantasy football league together. Never DM'd her back. Never DM'd her back on Instagram. He's DMing me back. Frank, what are we doing here, buddy? We're DMing the wrong people here.
It's a class guy right there.
Oh, he's the man.
I'm like, Frank, you gotta be hitting that porn star back up, not me.
That is what that's just the perfect epitome of Frank.
Yeah, that's why he's 1 in a billion.
Yep.
And then when she said something, he goes, "I'll try."
All right, Zach, you got two here.
First, I'm going to go Kate Barstool. She is absolutely hilarious. She's on the Yak now. I'll never forget when she did the stand-up for Chris Long on PMT. He came on I think it was the bus at one of the Super Bowls or whatever, and she did like a stand-up, whatever, but like with just kind of like awkward comedy jokes, and it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And she's just hilarious.
The story, she's a great storyteller. To the one about like when she fell asleep in the back of a car trying to scare these guys and ended up in West Virginia. Like, she is insanely funny, and she has mass appeal too. She's another one that
she's all for a country. So
yeah, exactly. That's a great pick. Who's your last one?
Nick Turaney.
Great pick.
I wish I could say him and KB, but Nick Turaney, he's so funny. With I was listening back to like the news stuff that they did on their podcast, Anus, on a new untold story. It's just, I know they like kind of plan out some of their jokes or whatever, but just naturally hilarious.
I agree, and that's actually my third round pick is KB No Swag. I love Nick, but I like KB just a touch more. KB is, what'd you say?
It's his 30th birthday today.
He is so funny. I follow their TikTok pages. And I think it's because both of them are like, or have like dabbled in stand-up comedy, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I don't really know. I think they're kind of doing it now.
Yeah, just insanely funny people.
My last one is a guy who I didn't used to like very much. And then like in the last probably year and a half on Pick Central, I've really grown to like him a lot. It's Big Ev. I think he's like a pretty damn sharp gambler. He gives out a lot of good picks. A lot of good like football, basketball, big UFC guy too. He's really good on spinning back fists. Pretty funny dude. Seems like a pretty normal kind of guy too. So it's like, I just kind of like the people that just seem pretty genuine, in my opinion, and he kind of carries that vibe. And I said, I didn't used to be a fan of him at all.
I think I remember at one point this might have been like before we.
I'm pretty sure I've trashed him here on this pod before, but I've really kind of done a 180 on that guy because I think he's pretty damn good, dude. Like he seems like a good dude. Like I said, he puts out a lot of good picks and like puts out good content, like from a gambling side. So. I agree. A lot.
I agree. Some of my honorable mentions that I really like but didn't have room to draft. Chaps. I wish I understood a lot more of his content because I like Chaps a lot. Barstool Carl, obviously we all love Carl.
Roan would have been my next pick.
Yep, Roan's great
very funny. Roan's like ultra talented. The guy who probably got me the first time like the first guy that really connected me to Barstool was probably KFC. For KFC Radio when he first started that, and then with Big Cat and Prez on there was very good. And then he had Big Cat and not Prez, he had Prez on with Rundown. But when he started with Big Cat and Feidelberg on KFC Radio, that fucking show was like that was dynamite. It was outstanding, like kind of cutting edge podcasting at the time. Not a lot of people were doing it. That kind of sucked me into Barstool, and he was such a good writer too. So I really like KFC a lot. Clem is another one, just kind of relate to a lot of what he's into, his content and like what he's like the retro sports video games, the fucking kind of like the dad fucking aspect of it. Like I really like him. I like Large too. Large seems
big
like a pretty
fan
good
of Large. Yeah, Twisted History is one of my favorite podcasts.
Twisted History,
Jersey Jerry,
yeah. What'd you say, Maddie, about Twisted History?
Twisted History is one of those, like, if I don't have like a current pod, like you have to listen to PMT current, you have to listen to certain like Hard Factor current, certain podcasts you've got to listen to like currently. Like when I don't have a current one to listen to, like pretty much just scroll through like past episodes of Twisted History to see like what a different topic and what seems interesting at that day. Like that's one I just like a go to.
Definitely. Glenny Balls and Caleb.
Like the Case too. Season 1.
Yeah, that was really, me and my wife both listened to that.
Was really good on the Case season 1. Season 2 was a little rough, but I don't think that was necessarily because of him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Sass is hilarious.
I can't stand him. I don't know
Oh,
what it
I
is.
love him.
It's his laugh. That just his laugh during the yak. It just annoyed me. I
And
like
I know
Brandon
it goes
Walker.
back
He's not
to
bad.
it goes back to his days with Pat McAfee, but Vibbs. I obviously twisted history. I'm a big Jeff Vibbert fan, but I remember him back like when he was like 21 working for Pat McAfee. So
Being
there's so
my
much.
age too, like Brandon Walker's another one I relate to a lot of his stuff.
And the other one, I mean, I think we've talked about, but Jeff D. Lowe with the dozen trivia. I don't know about you guys. I watch that all the time.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Let us know who we forgot on this list. There's a ton of. I'm like looking at the Barstool talent page, and there's just so much good stuff here. I enjoy Feidelberg too. I think he's just goofy.
He's very funny.
Yeah.
Like very funny.
But that is all we have for episode 156. We appreciate you checking in. Make sure you find us on Twitter at @typical_Chicago, Facebook and Instagram as well. Type in Typical Chicago Fans into YouTube for all of our content in video form. Wherever you get your podcast, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Of course, Zach at Lilia TCF and Maddie at schools_01. Thanks again to Caleb Benoit from Connect Roasters for joining us tonight. Make sure you check them out at Connect Roasters on Twitter and connectroasters.com. That was episode 156 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.